Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, LaDraine Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It, delivering on ideas and thoughts. And you know what I do in a nutshell, right? I help to turn dreamers into doers, and I do it from two aspects. I do it from the aspect of career development, interview preparation, resume writing. You're looking to switch a job. You have questions about your performance plan or your promotion packet. I am your girl. And then I also do it from a business aspect. If you're looking to start a business, you have ideas and thoughts, don't know how to bring them into fruition, or if you have a business and you're looking for marketing strategies or the foundational business plan, I am your girl. Here at the Let's Do It Talk Show, we were primarily created for entrepreneurs, right? We quickly realized that the entrepreneur is an entire person. So not only do we talk about faith, we talk about finances, we talk about the future, and we talk about family and friends. Here today, I'm very excited. We're going to be doing it a little different. We're going to be talking about the Clubhouse rock. So I don't know if you don't know about Clubhouse, where you have been. We're going to go into a little bit of details about it, talk about the pros and the cons. And I'm so excited. With me today, I have none other than Jason Hodge, a.k.a. the Jason Hodge. He is my brother in faith. He is a leader and a spokesperson for Faithpreneur, which is led by Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant. So I'm super excited about today's show. I've been playing around a little bit with Clubhouse, but gotta tell you, I have some ups and downs with it. So you know what I do before I go into the show. I talk about my weekend. I don't have a video this week. So this weekend, I really took the time out, focused on my goals. I normally do that every year for my birthday, right? But this year I was in Hawaii, and I had my own room separate from the girls, but I just couldn't get into it. We were funning and sunning and all those things. So I needed to take a moment and regroup because I felt like I was all over the place. And a lot of productivity happened, and I'll be talking more on the show about some projects that I have coming up. So I've been doing a lot of writing, a lot of creative, and a lot of connections with small business owners. So I'll be talking about that a little bit later. So no movies, no videos this week, but shout out to my girl, Levette Claiborne. She took me to dinner, so we have been trying to schedule it for my birthday, and finally we had it. I know my birthday was June 4th. Yeah, still having birthdays, but really enjoyed that. And as I posted on Facebook, our friendship established in 1979. So that was one of my first best friends, so it was great to see her and to catch up. Friday, spent time with my church. I already told you our women's ministry party a little different, so we had a little summer fun in the summer, and then I just worked. My clients are doing wonderful. One was texting me on the way. She had multiple job offers, and she is having anxiety about which one to pick. That's a good problem to have, right? So I'll be talking to her later. So a lot going on in the career arena. But the reason why we are here today is to talk about Clubhouse 101. And we're doing something a little bit differently, so I hope it runs smoothly. But we're doing dual broadcasting. So I'm here in the studio at U Broadcast Media, and my brother Jason is broadcasting on Clubhouse. So we're going to see how that works out, and we're going to put Clubhouse to the test. So, brother Jason Hodge, aka the Jason Hodge, how are you, my brother?
I am doing great, sis.
Oh,
And so we are now live inside of the Clubhouse app, and we are definitely going to see how this works. But I'm pretty sure it's going to go really well. Oh, we've
yeah.
already got our first visitor, so we're doing well.
I'm confident with you. I just had to say it from my end because I see how you
Right.
rock and roll on Saturday. Something that has been going on for 12 years. You are making
Hmm.
sure that it stays up with technology, and that's the
Yes.
Faithpreneur VIP prayer call. So I celebrated my third year this weekend. So excited about that. It has truly been a blessing to me. So I see what you do with that. So trust me, I trust you. It was just something that I had to say because I'm still, I'm getting the feel for Clubhouse. I felt like
Right.
we almost spent the night last night in
Right.
terms of the room, but that was very interesting in terms of
Yeah.
that whole conversation. But I know who
Exactly.
you are, and I can talk all day, and that's what we do. But can we take a moment and allow you to introduce yourself? Let the businesses know who you are.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Jason Hodge, aka The Jason Hodge. I'm a media planner and the producer of Mastering Your Media. We are simulcasting on Clubhouse as well as on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We kind of get all over the place. And the whole premise of Mastering Your Media is to show folks how to master their media. We interview experts in their space and we ask them the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the pitfalls that they had to overcome and how they went about doing it, how they crafted their unique story in order to make sure that those who hear the story, their story, can find their stories in there. So this is all about freedom. It's about showing them that no matter where you're starting, so long as you're willing and committed to take the next step and to tap into your resources, the revenue, the relationships, you can make a go and success out of whatever it is that God has given you to do. So that's it in a nutshell.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I want to talk about in basically Clubhouse, right?
Hmm.
How and when did you first hear about Clubhouse?
Okay, so this is where Dr. Stacy NC Grant gets her bragging rights because usually I'm the one that brings technology to her. She asked me about Clubhouse. I said, "What?" And she says, "Wait a minute. You don't know about Clubhouse? I mean, I'm the first one who know I know before you." So she got me involved with it. And I jumped on December 31st, which is a very significant day to me because it is the birthday of my grandmother, my late grandmother. So
Oh, wow.
Clubhouse will always be special to me because of that day that I started. And since I've been on there, it has been a whirlwind. I've met people from all over the world and done some pretty amazing things and jumped into quite a few projects. Matter of fact, we've got a project coming up in next week. Matter of fact, it is the CACCC 21, the Cancer Awareness Content Creation Challenge, where it's 5 LinkedIn experts. I'm one of them, and we are going to show businesses and those who do give a donation to the cancer organization, the organization of their choice that supports people through the fight of cancer. And so long as they give a minimum of $50 and they can show a receipt that they have donated to that organization in after the time that we start this training, then they will get that training for free. And there's so much more that goes to that training. There, one of the instructors will be giving away a product of his that is about $700. So all of that for a minimum of a $50 donation. And something that you're going to do anyway. Just show us the receipt that you've done it, and we will partner with you in order to get your content right for your business.
Definitely. So I am signing up for that. And you and I talked about that before in terms of just the whole partnering with the
Hmm.
Cancer Awareness Association. And so for
Hmm.
me, very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
As I'm looking for various ways and multiple ways to pay honor and tributes to my mom and my sister. So that's like for the rest of my
Wow.
life of things that I'm going to be looking to do, in addition to the book projects and the journals and the other things that I'm working on. So
Hmm.
definitely going to contribute to that. And then the reward that you get for the contributions, I ain't
Look.
mad at that either. So I'm looking forward to it. I watched your work. Very skilled, very
Hmm.
particular, very organized, and very creative in the things that you do. You bring life and excitement to various things. And I really like that. So proud of you and the
Thank you,
partnership and
sis.
all that you do. But I would definitely sign up for that. Definitely sign up for
Awesome.
that.
Awesome. Awesome.
And it's funny. So for me, I signed up for Clubhouse in November, but honestly,
Mm.
I haven't been active. And Dr. Kern Hills Pruden, she used to be a co-host on the show. She
Hmm.
actually was talking about co-host. I mean, about Clubhouse, and then she threatened me almost. She was like, "Listen, it's invitation only. Are you going
Right.
to use it and create a profile?" So I was like, "Absolutely." So I went in and did so. So I want you to definitely talk about the pros and cons, but let me just be honest with my experience. So the
Hmm.
first time I got on it, it was addictive. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is between this, Facebook, and Instagram, and I've done
Hmm.
very good of like moderating my time on those two. But I was
Hmm.
like, this one right here is addictive
Yeah.
because you get engaged in a conversation. It's supposed to be 30 minutes, an hour, or whatever it is, but the topics are so juicy and people are
Yes.
so engaged, and you can jump on the platform, jump off the floor to speak.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
engaging. But every time that I had given out a one of my invitations,
Hmm.
I would warn people like it's addictive, and they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "It's addictive." But so I talk about that, and I mean that in all sincerity because that was my thing. And
Hmm.
brother, when you get a chance, look at my profile. I promised you that I would have it done by 7:15. I did it. I did it.
Right.
I did it. But what I want you to do is, because you are one of the masters on Clubhouse, and shout out to Auntie Ross also. She is doing the thing as well. All of you all, Dr. Stacy, everyone. So I'm really proud of what you all are doing. And I tried to accept the ping in, and that's Clubhouse language. But let's talk
Right.
about the pros and the cons of Clubhouse, because as we all know, two sides to every coin, ups and downs to
Mm.
every situation. So
Hmm.
for you, I know that the pros are phenomenal. So let's start with the cons for you first, and then go into the pros.
Okay. So the you said start with the cons.
Yes. Oh
Okay.
no, go
So the
ahead. Start with the.
cons.
So um that's like challenging the master to oppose their thought. So you can have it whichever way. I just thought it would be easier because your list for the cons would be shorter. Have it your way. Have it your way.
No, no, no. It's good. It's good. I can start out with the cons, and I'll tell you this: the cons are going to be based on a few things. If you don't go in there with a plan, yeah, you will have your lunch handed to you, because the thing is that you got to be directional when you go in there. You have to know why you're in there. If you're in there just to connect with people and all that, that's one thing. If you're in there and you're using it as a vehicle to build your business, then you've got to be a lot more intentional with the people that you follow, the clubs that you join, the rooms that you go into, and then where you spend your time adding value. So for me, I'm very directional. I do like making connections, but I mean, quite frankly, I've got a bunch of connections just here where I live, and I've got, my connections of people online that I have, crafted over the years. So I have made some new amazing connections since I've been on Clubhouse. I'm grateful for that. But the business aspect, I go into the rooms where there are the people who need the value that God has given me to offer. And then so I make sure that I get on the stage. So if you go into Clubhouse and you don't get on the stage, you're kind of halfway wasting your time unless you're in there just data mining, kind of finding out what people are looking for and asking the questions that they're asking. It's a great tool for you to get the right information straight from the horse's mouth, no pun intended. So that's the one thing. Con is that if you don't have a plan of action, if you don't have a direction, you can waste a lot of time. And before you know it, you're up 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and you're still on there and haven't gotten anything for it except for exhaustion. You may have met some people, but they're exhausted too. Okay, so another con is that if you don't, well, that's the major con. That's the major con right there. Now I could dive into the pros. The pros are that if you do have a plan and you're like, you know what, I want to get in front of, these executives here or these people who can say yes to me here, then it is the equivalent of like when people run marketing campaigns,
Mm-hmm.
you may be running a marketing campaign to a lot of cold traffic folks who don't know you, they have no clue of who you are, and they've never heard you. So all they think of is, okay, you're trying to sell me something. On Clubhouse, the difference is this: they get to experience you, they get to hear you, they get to understand your passion for what it is that you do. And when you couple that with authentic communication, then what ends up happening is that people then they make this connection to you. Like they become lifers if you do it right.
Yeah.
And this isn't in a manipulative standpoint that you're in there trying to make people like follow me. It's that, hey, I'm here to serve
Right.
and I'm hearing these questions that are coming up. I know I have the answer for these questions. Let me dive in and really flesh this thing out so that when you leave my presence, you will know that you've been served. And now I forever have made an impact in your life and in your mind. And hopefully that you take me into your heart. So that is a pro. And you meet a lot of great people who do amazing things and you make a real life connection with them. So pros, cons, I said the pros outweigh the cons every day.
Yeah, and I definitely can see your take on both of them and have been a recipient of both. One, so
Right.
I can definitely tell you and explain different angles of how it
Mm-hmm.
benefit me from not only from a business aspect but
Mm-hmm.
also from a personal aspect.
Right.
So let's start with the business. I'll
Okay.
just take just last night. So last night, you pinged me on the line. There's a
Mm-hmm.
contest one, and that was the reason why you sent the information for a 5 minute spiel, and you can win
Right.
$5,000, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I didn't hit, I mean, I didn't follow you earlier as you were, notifying your ping was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who did, they got free training from
Yes.
world renowned speakers and critique. Like, that's like thousands and thousands of dollars of
Oh,
training where you
straight
can
up.
actually just come on the stage and give your presentation, and they will give you critique and help you with it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one situation. But I have been dipping in and dipping out, and
Mm-hmm.
in terms of marketing, creativity, just ideas. And half of the time I'm doing it while I'm cooking or I'm doing something else. And then it will grab my attention and I'll go grab my notes, or either I'll utilize my phone for notes. It is like, but it's volumes and volumes of free information, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to use it wisely, use your time wisely, because
Yes.
just like any other thing, whether it be social media, games, or anything, TV watching, any
Mm-hmm.
type of thing, it can consume a lot of your time. So I like the point when you were talking about be selective about the rooms that you follow.
Right.
And then there's a magic button that's called leave quietly. So if you're finding that it is something that is not a benefit to you, then
Right.
you can it reminds me of the church thing and going out and putting your finger up, but you can leave quietly. And then the other thing for me
Mm-hmm.
personally, and so I had taken off months when my mother passed away and when my sister passed away, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had time, and as I was going through my grieving process, I
Mm-hmm.
would listen in on any room that talked about strength, that talked about faith, that talked about various things,
Yeah.
and faithpreneur being one. That you got it, Minister Latanya Boyd,
Mm-hmm.
Roz, you,
Mm-hmm.
all of these people had platforms where it was steadily building me up, and it would be, I would get messages and people couldn't understand like my talk, my voice, and everything. But when I tell you, I was boxed around,
Mm-hmm.
greatness, comfort, and all of
Yeah.
these things that still like it's still hard to even explain, but
Mm-hmm.
Clubhouse was a component of that. So I will
Mm-hmm.
never forget that from that avenue.
Right.
Some nights when I was up, I would go and turn it into valuable information, and
Mm-hmm.
it really
Mm-hmm.
blessed me from that standpoint. So pluses and minuses to everything. Be in self control, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, in volume, I meant like the volume of information for whatever you're trying to do. My brother,
Yes.
Minister Andre, is on the line. He has a food company, a food truck. All
Nice.
details and information. You are on a lot of cooking shows and details in terms of that. So when I'm telling you, it's amazing, but you just have to make sure that you manage it and you pick your rooms. And I'm
Yes.
actually going to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Auntie Ross had been trying to get me to start a room, and I was just like, I don't have the capacity right now to manage it.
You do
But as I
now.
start seeing it build up, I see like lost opportunities that I really could have had with a lot of connections.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so we talked about the advantages and disadvantages.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kind of like talk about some of the activities and the
Mm-hmm.
other things that you're working on. And one of the things that I talked about was the Faithpreneur Room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fridays, um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
information, a given topic always blesses my heart. And
Yeah.
specifically this Friday, I was sharing
Yeah.
with a client and someone I went out to eat with.
Mm-hmm.
I got off work early,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I was able to catch the call.
Mm-hmm.
Filled my
Nice.
spirit. Then from that, I went out to eat with
Nice.
someone. I was able to
Mm-hmm.
pour into her. From that, my church's
Mm-hmm.
event, I got poured
Mm-hmm.
back into. So it was just like the whole. And then Friday morning,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean Saturday morning,
Yeah.
the call was
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah.
let's talk about
Yeah.
some of the activities. And talking about
Yeah.
Faithpreneur, let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about Faithpreneur Weekend. And you see my shirt, right?
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Yes.
Yes, my
Let me
Faithpreneur
see.
T-shirt.
Nice.
So
Yes.
let's talk
Nice.
about Faithpreneur Weekend and
Nice.
your
Nice.
master and
Nice.
your media training.
You know what? The funny thing is that Mastering Your Media was
You know
birthed
what? The
at
funny thing is
Faithpreneur
that
Weekend.
Mastering Your Media
The
was
first
birthed
year
at
that we
Faithpreneur
had
Weekend.
Faithpreneur Weekend,
The
Dr.
first
Stacy NC
year
Grant,
that we
she
had
put it on, and
Faithpreneur
that came
Weekend,
out of her
Dr. Stacy
book,
NC Grant, she
Action,
put it
Action
on, and
Despite
that
the
came out
Distraction.
of her book,
And so first it was a
Action
gala,
Despite the
then it continued to
Distraction.
grow,
And
and
so
before she
first it
knew
was
it,
a
this thing just
gala,
took on a
then it
life of its
continued to
own.
grow, and
And
before she
so
knew it, this thing
the
just took on
first
a life of
one,
its own.
2K18,
And
I
so
did
the
a
first
Mastering Your
one,
Media
2K18,
segment in the panel
I did
discussion.
a
The
Mastering Your
following
Media
year,
segment in the
I
panel
did Mastering
discussion.
Your Media
The
again.
following
So,
year,
it was about
I
resources.
did
How do
Mastering
you
Your Media
take,
again. So,
all of the
it was about
things that you
resources.
need
How do
in
you
order to
take,
really grow what
all
you're
of the things
doing,
that you
right? So,
need in order to really grow what you're doing so that you can masterfully move through your media, whatever that looks like for you. What's your branding look like? What is the copy? What's your story? My thing has always been story. Everything and everybody has a story, and you have to be willing and able to tell your story in a way that is palatable to the audience that you want to attract. So I was just on the line today working with somebody on their power talk
now
and breaking down their
organizing the
components and
series of
how are you
events as
now
you are
organizing the
outlaying this
series of
information so
events
that you can
as you are
captivate hearts and minds.
outlaying this
So when you're
information
mastering your
so
media,
that
you
you
got
can
to think about
captivate
all of
hearts and
these
minds.
things.
So
And
when
it
you're
was
mastering your media, you
during the
got to think
Faithpreneur
about all of
Weekend
these things.
that as I
And it
kept on
was
coming back to
during the
train on
Faithpreneur
that, I was like,
Weekend
you know what? I
that as
need
I
to
kept on
create a
coming back
platform
to
for
train
this
on
because
that.
I
And I
see
was
that
like, you know
there's a
what? I need
massive
to create
need.
a platform
There's
for
a
this
need for
because I see
folks
that there's
to
a
understand how to
massive
get real
need.
comfortable in
There's
front of
a
the
need
camera.
for
You know,
folks
I've got
to
this
understand
saying,
how to get real
service
comfortable
cures
in
the
front of the
nervous. Because they
camera.
ask me, how
You know,
come you
I've
never
got this
get
saying,
nervous when you're on
service
camera, when
cures
you're
the
on
nervous.
radio?
Because they ask
I
me,
said,
how come you
because when
never
I
get
go on there,
nervous
I'm not
when
thinking
you're on
about
camera, when you're
myself.
on radio?
I'm thinking
I said,
about
because when I go
what
on there, I'm not
value
thinking
am
about
I
myself.
adding
I'm
to
thinking
the
about what
audience.
value am I
If I can
adding
always
to
add
the
value,
audience.
then it doesn't matter if I got, a ripped shirt, if I got food in my teeth, whatever, because you're there for the value. What is it going to do for your business, for your life? How am I going to contribute to your growth? So if I can stay focused right there, then not only have I mastered my media, but I've shown you by example how to master yours. So every year I go back and I do mastering your meeting and I talk about more than just the mindset thing. I also talk about the tools, the platforms, the technology that you use in order to make yourself either sound better, look better, whatever. Okay. So there's a number of things, or to look very normal. Okay. I've got this campaign that I'm doing right now. It's normalizing the normal. Okay.
Mm.
Making normal be normal. Sometimes we get so caught up in having to look right that we don't pull the trigger on our stuff. So then people, they suffer because the information, the value that you've got to bring to the table, you are not bringing it because you don't have everything perfect. And I'm
Right.
going to tell you right now, little news flash, perfect is very subjective. Your perfect and my perfect are
Yes.
two entirely different things, and it's based on our filters. So if I have to wait for your perfect in order for you to do something because you think that it's got to be to my perfect, you'll never get it done. So I specialize in helping people pull the trigger, start on their challenges. I've got folks on a 100 days of value challenge right now, just to get the machine oiled so that they can get comfortable in front of just being themselves in front of the camera. So there's a
Yes.
lot that's there. And I get so much every time that I go and serve at Faithpreneur Weekend. So I'm excited about this year.
I'm excited about this weekend as well. So one of the things that you talked as you broke down all the different components and the information and the critiquing and the advice
Mhm.
that you shared. By the way, last night, phenomenal job on Clubhouse. I stayed
Thank you.
on listening to you as you were one of the moderators and providing critique to the people who were practicing for the campaign. Also, I want to touch back on what you said in terms of people speaking. And for me, I find that a lot of friends and a lot of people that I grew up with, they are very proud, and of me, and always give me kudos and congratulatory remarks about speaking, writing, and all the various things. And the thing that I tell them is that you can speak too. Like you have a
Right.
story, and that's the magical piece. Everybody has a story, right? Everybody has a story that can help someone else's. And a lot of times we are in our space and we often lose track of how important our story is. So that happens a lot of times. And one of the things that I wanted to shout out or to pretty much say to people is everybody have a story. The same way that I have written, I think this is my fifth book, spoken in Paris as well as other places here, hosted various events and called upon to do that, you can get paid to do those things as well. I love attending conferences, right? So attending conferences and being the host of it and getting paid for it, that's like a great thing. You find your zone, you find your niche, but everyone can be a speaker and everyone can share information. So I definitely enjoyed what you said in terms of that information. So you all make sure you follow Jason and get connected with him so that you can have information about his class. And also, it looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty, but Jason helps people to make their media pop and come live. And a lot of times we have businesses and different things, but the way that the reason that we fail is that we fail to let people know about it. So advertising is important, but also having a platform and having your information set up where you are able to let your information speak for itself without you even being in the room. So I really want people to get engaged into their businesses and various activities of things that they can do. And the important thing is make sure that you reach out and you utilize the resources that allow you to do so. So while we're waiting for Jason, I wanted to talk about Clubhouse a little bit more. So, one of the things that a couple of the rooms that I have been in, they all have been beneficial in terms of businesses and a lot of contests where you don't have to pay anything to enroll, but there's a prize at the end. And what people are doing is instead of paying a company or someone else to do their advertising, what they would have spent on it, they're giving it away. So money is given away on Clubhouse every day for different things that you do. So one of the things that I'm looking to get into is a company that helps you to get your book into libraries. And you have to compete for it and go through a competition, explain about your book, and then the libraries are on a platform where they will be able to check in and figure out like what's going on with your book and your details, and to also figure out if your book is one that they want to connect. Another one that I found was entertaining, and it kind of goes into the likeness of what we do on the show when we do the men and the women show. So one was all about relationships. They had a panel of experts who are matchmakers and who are engaged in relationship coaching. And they were on all night giving free advice. People were stepping up, and the platform is called a stage. People were stepping up to the stage and obtaining information and getting information, which was I can say it was an evening of entertainment, but also of education. And from it, I took some items and was able to figure out like what was going on. So yeah. So Jason, any other comments or any other thoughts in terms of Facebook? I'm sorry, Clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse is really a tool, and I like to teach people that any of the platforms that you're on, they're all tools. And you have to be cognizant about this so that you never let the tool use you, you leverage the tool. So, for example, when you're doing Clubhouse, I like to schedule rooms, and then I like to take those rooms that I've scheduled and then market them out, push them out into the marketplace. So that way they know, hey, this is coming up. This person's going to be talking about X, Y, and Z. And I want to know about that. Here are the
Yes.
3 points that they're going to be touching on. I want to dive in on that conversation because I've got questions that I've got to ask. Now, you can use that as a bi directional feed. The one feed is you're outputting information. The other, which is even more powerful, is that you're taking in information. You are learning directly what the marketplace is looking for. And that takes the guessing game out of, I wonder what I should do in order to draw more people to my offers. I wonder what I should do in order to get more people into my business because they're telling you, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want. This is what we need. This is where our business is hurting or hemorrhaging. And I need answers here. So you either A, can give perspective. You can get experts in there. If you yourself don't drive that lane, then you know what your marketplace, what your audience is looking for. And this is how you create the one stop shop, or maybe I should say the holistic environment for what you do
Right.
by understanding what your marketplace is looking for and then pulling on a network of experts that you have grown to know, like, trust yourself. You bring them in front of your marketplace, and then they say, wow, you know what? Every time that I have an issue, the Dreams platform always solves it because I had this question, she brought in an expert, and now I've got the answer. So now you become the hub,
And then everybody starts to tell their people about your hub. You got to get them in here, get that person in here, get that person in here, because they're getting what they need, and they know that it is well for them to bring their people in to get what they need as well. So it is a way in which to utilize Clubhouse as your most powerful listening tool. What are people titling their rooms? What are people asking when they get on the stage? What are experts saying? All of that can be converted into a guide. It can be converted into content. It can be converted into things that drive cash into your bank account, build your business, and build the credibility and the goodwill that you are bringing to your marketplace. So I would say that, when you're looking at Clubhouse, take out the name for a moment and look at it as the tool that gets you right in front of people where you can feel their pulse, hear the intent of their questions, and then be able to dial in on what their real need is. What I tend to do in my rooms is when people ask questions, I ask them a series of questions. Because quite frankly, when you are in crisis mode, you may not know the question to ask. So you ask a question. So then my question is, where do you ultimately want to end up?
Right.
Because you may be asking the wrong question. So I could answer that question, but do you a disservice in answering that question without first vetting your question. So you ask me a question, and then I ask you a question. Okay, so you're asking this question. Let me understand where you ultimately want to end up. And that way I can understand if I need to supplement that question with other questions, other information, other resources. So then when you ask me the question, or you answer the question that I just asked you, tell me where you want to end up. You say, I want to end up here. Oh, okay. So you ask this question, but this is the question that you should have asked to get there. There's the SAQs, the FAQs, frequently asked questions, and then the SAQs, which is the should ask questions. You
Huh.
want to get here, you should have asked this question. Let me give you the answer. I'm going to answer the question that you just gave me because I don't want to tick you off. But then let me now go a little step further and then answer the question that you didn't ask, should have asked, that gets you to this finish line right here. And let me fill in the blanks with the resources that you need. Go here, go here, go here, talk to this person, this person, this person. And then these are the things that you're going to focus on when you talk to them in order for you to get the concise information to get you to that finish line. So Clubhouse is great for that.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely hear what you're saying and taking in that advice. I'm a coach, right? So I coach people in various areas, and one of the things for me is when I have a client and we have an engagement, rather it be a one-on-one session in group, and mostly I have been doing one-on-one sessions because of COVID. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things for me is that I love over delivering. I really
Yeah.
do, and I always do so. And for me, it's so many pieces of information that I say over and over and over again. Whether it be from the classroom or whether it be from me just coming up with something. Yeah, I have a tendency to want to find a platform to share further information, right? And so with that, I think Clubhouse will be a great platform. I will make sure that I manage my time. That's one of the things that I have to really ensure that I do is manage my time. And with that, it'll give me the ability to jump on or schedule something, even if I wanted to schedule 30 minutes every other day or some type of recurrent format, because I have gained so much just from the times that I have jumped on. Just have been very skeptical because I don't want to have an overload, right? I don't want to be
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
overload. The same reasons why I pull back on the other social media platforms. The difference is you're not just browsing; you're actually engaged in the conversation. And guess what? You don't have to put on clothes. So I have on my clubhouse gear today as if I'm in the clubhouse. But
Right.
and what I'm going to be doing is, so as I mentioned, I created my profile on the 15th, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be making it more intentional in terms of finding ways to use for my business and also for the grief journey and platform that I'm utilizing for that. So those are
Hmm.
two areas where I'm really going to get focused on and intentionally share information and create platforms to offer various tips and offer various information, because I'm so serious. I have learned and gained so much information, and not only from a business aspect but from
Hmm.
personal. There's topics about everything, and you're able to filter it down by identifying what areas of interest that you would like. But I found some entertaining conversations as well. But you just like in life, you can get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So looking
Hmm.
forward to doing so, and we'll definitely continue to be following you. You have like the most awesome room, but it's like I can't connect with you all the time, especially like during the day. I work full time, so I can't
Right.
jump on there during the day. But the evening ones have been
Exactly.
great. So,
Exactly.
so in terms of what you do and your programs, and conjunction with Clubhouse, for you,
Hmm.
what has been your most impactful moment on Clubhouse today?
Hmm. Oh, that's good. You know, I would say that one of the most impactful times, and this is not just one occasion,
Hmm.
this is many occasions. It is that when I go up on to other stages in other people's clubs, I go there to serve. I'm not there dropping oh yeah, go visit my site over here. Hey, I've got this product there. Because I don't believe that when people are hurting, that is how you serve them. I believe that when they're hurting, you do what's necessary in order to get them out of that space where they're hurting. So I listen for what it is that the deficit is. And then I pour in until they are at that point where they're like, thank you. I got that answer. There was one lady who went in, she was in one of the rooms I was in, and she was asking about, just some questions around, okay, what can I do with this new project and all that. And by the time that she finished, I asked her a series of questions like I always do. Uh, what ended up happening was the way that God downloaded the information into me, it built out her whole, not only answered the question, but built out her whole business model, how she was to go about doing it, the type of connection she needed to make, and then how to structure the ancillary products that would be attached to the project so that it became sustainable, and then structured it in a way that each one of those departments would become its own entity
Mm.
generating cash flow. I believe that every department of our business really is a business inside of the business, and each business runs and should be profitable. So when you think about that, you've got to look at, well, what all does this have to offer? And how can we now take this bank of knowledge and turn it into something that is going to generate more? How is it going to replicate itself? That is like infusing your business with a wealth generation model. Wealth and riches you got to work for, grind for. If you stop working, riches stop.
Right.
Wealth, you put something in place, a system in place, and then it generates its own stuff. It's like, a stew that makes its own gravy. So I look at businesses like that. Are you making your own gravy, or are you grinding away? And the minute that you stop your billable hours, then your cash flow stops. And if that's the case, then there's another way that you need to tweak your business so that you are now generating and driving revenue in a way that doesn't hurt your public. I shouldn't take from you and then you come up missing and I come up with something. My take should be because I gave, and now from the overage, it's like going and planting a field and nourishing that field so that it brings forth a lot of good fruit, right? So then as I'm picking the fruit, it stimulates the tree to produce more fruit. The tree never says stop picking my fruit,
Right.
because I put the work in to nourish that tree. So if we are nourishing those in our lives, those in our business, those in our marketplace, if we are providing the ultimate value, And what ends up happening is that we not only transform businesses, we transform lives because we make it okay for people to say, I could actually freely share and not have something taken from me. So, what I found, that was a long way of getting to this point. What I found is that people have inboxed me, they have messaged me, they have said, I'm in tears. Thank you. I needed that. I needed that more than I realized it. And I didn't know how deeply that was going to touch me. I've had people message me who were considering, like, hey, I'm out of here. Okay. And they've shifted in that protocol. And so when you start thinking about how the way you show up, the way that you deliver what it is
Yes.
that God has given you, that it actually can save lives, it gets that
Yes.
serious. So I've seen that on Clubhouse. I've seen people where I go up in a group of other experts to where they stop talking and they're like, Jason, I think you could take that answer right there. Because in the midst of that answering, I let God do what God does.
That's it.
And I let Him speak through me. And that goes into the life of that person asking that question. And I realize that the heaviness, the weight of answering a question is more than just answering a business question. You are actually tapping into the life and the why behind that business. Why did you start that business? Why are you on this project? Because it's more than just the project or just the business, even when you think it's just about the money.
Yeah, and that's so true. And you hit on so many things that I want to piggyback on. And the first one is cash flow.
Mm,
So we live in a society where so many people are tiptoeing around officially being entrepreneurs, right?
mm,
They will start off on emotion and start doing various things, but for one reason or another, not continuing. Then they'll come back to it and pretty
mm,
much start all over again. Is basically what you're doing. Um, and one of the things that I really have a desire and a hope for is
mm,
that people really seriously take their skills and their God-given gifts and turn it into a vessel flowing, right?
mm, mm,
Because we
mm,
all know that God gives you your gifts in order for you to make an impact on someone else. And
mm,
all of the gifts that he gives to other people are for you and for
mm,
others. So
mm.
I really want people to not just play with the idea of being an
Right.
entrepreneur or a business owner, right? But
Mm, mm,
actually really consistently stick to it and get into it. That's one of
mm,
the things that I hear positively from Clubhouse because people are not having to pay a coach right away. Like eventually you need to get a coach so you can consistently go through. But the
mm,
valuable um feedback, recommendation, and
mm,
coaching, because that's
mm.
what's being done in a lot of the rooms I've been in, have been invaluable. And I see and I hear the motivation in people. And I just really hope it is my sincere desire that
Yeah.
people actually move forward to bring their businesses to
Mm,
fruition or to walk in their purpose and
mm.
fulfill that mission that was granted to them. The
Yes.
second thing was when you talked about systems. A
Mm,
word that I have been using for years is systematic approaches, right?
mm, mm.
So believe it or not, so I work in HR, but in HR in my component, I'm over top of the systems team. So in that
Nice.
capacity, what my staff members do, I have several team members and several staff. One of my staff, that's what they do. They create automation for all
Mm,
of the various branches and all of the teams. So basically, what happens is a team will come to us and say, "Hey, I need a tracking system for this, or
mm,
I need to figure out how to manage this system or
mm,
what to do." My guys will come in, either provide them a tool through SharePoint Teams or any other automated automation system that our agency already pays for. So it's a
mm.
lot of people, even on your iPhone, Android too, but iPhone, you have so many different
Little
options, so
shade
many
there.
opportunities to utilize your phone as a computer. But
Right.
when we don't know all that's out there, there's so many untapped resources. So when you say systematic approaches, it just sparked me up. I love automation, especially for things that you do repetitively, right?
Yeah.
Why would you not automate it and have things go in and go that way? Yes, sometimes things will happen where people come. Like I do services, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
some people will refer people and give them my information out of the process. And when it goes out of the process, it kind of like mess me up. You might forget something, I might forget something. But when it goes into the process, you
Yes.
submit your payment, you get your link to schedule time, so no back and forth of when you're available, because in order to book on my calendar, you have to make a payment, right? And
Yes.
you get to
Yes.
see all of my, and it connects to my personal calendar, my recurring meetings, and all of that. And so it's a process that goes through it,
Hmm.
and when you're able to articulate that, it saves you time, and it also saves the potential client and help
Hmm.
to seal the deal with that. Like I've been
Yes.
so incredibly busy, a blessing, but so incredibly busy. But if it wasn't for some of the automation that I have, it's no way that I will be able to do so. And
Hmm.
on Facebook, when you have a moment, Andre Watts, Minister Andre Watts, wants the information about Clubhouse. And Andre, I actually have an invitation, so I will reach out and I will give you one of my invitations. And then it's Jason Hodge, so you'll be able to follow him. And trust me, you'll get the pings for the rooms that you want. And Andre, with your business, with your trucking business, and now that the pandemic is kind of shifting in terms of allowance for people to go out and people starting to do things, this will be a great platform for you in terms of teaming up with other people and listening and gaining information on how different things that people are going through to get back started, or different things in terms of, even if it's developing your menu, or if you want to take your truck to some event somewhere and be able to sell items there. So when I tell you, you make connections all around. I have met people from different places, and I haven't been doing it like on a serious, consistent matter. I'll jump in and jump off, and then now they have the back room where you can really connect. So you can follow the speakers, and you
Hmm.
can connect with them directly, like through a instant messaging. So that's good. So Jason, you know how we
Yes.
talk and how we do. It's 8:25, so I want to give you a moment to
Hmm.
provide any last words, any comments about Clubhouse, and then also any more details or information about you and what you're doing as your closing remarks.
Absolutely. Okay, so on Clubhouse, I actually I moderate quite a few rooms, and I'm in several clubs. The ones that I focus on is definitely the Faithpreneur Club, the Mastering Your Media Club, Trucking God's Way, and the Business Marketing Club. I'm regular in those spaces, and the Wealthpreneur Club with Carmen M. Herrera. The information that you get in those different spaces is just like value on top of value on top of value. The Faithpreneur Weekend, of course, that's coming up.
Yes.
We're very close to that. And so I wanted everybody who is on the broadcast. We've got something coming up. A matter of fact, I will be interviewing Dr. Stacy NC Grant, because we're going to talk about, the backdrop of the Faithpreneur Weekend, what it's all about, why you should be getting there this year. And also, there is some very huge bonuses for those who are diving into it this year. Not only is there a huge discount on the horizon, where there is, like, I think a ticket that is a coupon that takes $400 off of the ticket.
Yes, I heard that on Saturday.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I think you go to faithpreneurweekend.com and go for the all access pass. You definitely want to get that. And you will then put in the code Clubhouse. I think that's the code
Yes.
for it, Clubhouse. And then what will end up happening is that not only do you get the all access pass, but the folks that you get access to, amazing. All right. I'm going to, of course, be doing the Mastering Your Media training this go round, and then we'll probably do the Q4 training, which we normally do, which, we do that last fourth quarter of the year to give everybody that boost to move them forward in their business. And so I'm training on mastering your media. I go into how do you identify your ideal marketplace? What do you look for? Where do you look? And then how do you take that information and put it into a template so that you can then spring from there in order to then grow your content? How do you take the things that are core to you and then speak from that place so that you never have a misalignment with your values and what you're doing in business? And then also, what are the tools that you need to use when you are leveraging media? I've got an amazing tool that I use. It is the, excuse me, excuse me, fast lane, the fast lane growth tools. Okay, amazing. Matter of fact, if you folks are in the U.S., you can text me, um, area code 253-243-2452. Again, that's 253-243-2452, and just type in fast lane. Okay, and then I'll get you some information on how you can leverage things and put a system behind you so that you can actually end up taking the place of 4 or 5. And I'm not trying to put people out of jobs, but I'm trying
Right.
to help you efficiently move through your business growth. Okay, so that's why it's the growth tool. So again, that's 253-243-2452. Type in fast lane, and then I'll know that you came from here. And then so I'll send you the information, and that way you can look at what it looks like, the things that it can do. So anyway, and then lastly, if you've not already joined the Mastering Your Media Club on Clubhouse, I'm going to encourage you, jump on in there. You can go to join.masteringyourmedia.club. Again, that's join.masteringyourmedia.club. Even if you're not on Clubhouse, what it will do is that when you go to apply, you go to that link, it'll take you to where you can download the app and all of that. And then you will go through, fill out your information, and then you will be pending. And then once they bring you live, you should be a member or a follower of the Mastering Your Media Club by doing it that way. Okay?
Awesome.
So that means even if you don't have somebody who has sent you an invitation, that's kind of like a club invitation, like a back door for it. I got about 1,000 of them. So
Awesome.
there you
Okay.
have it.
So I'll definitely send Minister Andre Watts your information, and I wrote down the information. I'll type it in the feed later, but I definitely think that he will be able to utilize the programs, and even if he purchased the Faithpreneur for $97, he will get all of the other stuff and all of the assets. And he and I have been talking for some time, so I think this will be excellent for him and his
Yes.
wife to enroll in. And the other thing about the Faithpreneur packet, I mean, it's not just that; it's really the assets. But if people don't know the instructors now, they will definitely learn them. But you get your money back in food because you get free Grubhub for all of the days as well. But I'm looking forward to it. And this year I won't be speaking. I've spoken every other year, but
Mm-hmm.
this year proud and excited to be actually,
Right.
yes, excited. I'm super excited. Um, I'm super excited about this award, and I mean
And so
that's,
well deserved. So well
yes.
deserved.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So,
Yeah.
Jason, can you just provide your you provided the information for Mastering Your Minds, your media for
Mm-hmm.
Clubhouse. Any other social media contact or any other information? I know you stay on Clubhouse, but any other information you want to share?
You know what? The if they go to that, if they text that number 253-243-2452, you will actually be inserted into my system, and then all of the beautiful things that I've got going on in the background, all the new interviews that I've got coming up, all of the events, you will get that information, and you will get stuff not only to build your business but your life. So make sure that you plug into that number.
Brother Jason, I appreciate you so graciously. Love hearing you speak. Not only your voice, you know you got the voice, but always find interesting information always find myself advancing a little bit more when I have a conversation with you. And you and me,
Nice.
like I can talk, and you and I, we go in, we have some very deep conversations. So I appreciate you greatly. Appreciate you greatly. Have a great evening, and thank you for being a guest on the show.
Thank you so much, Ladrine. And as always, I absolutely love what you do. Keep on doing it, sis. You're doing it big, and I'm just so grateful that you are in my life. Have a great one.
Absolutely. Thank you. You as well. So you heard it from Jason Hodge, the Jason Hodge. He does so many things and have been invaluable in helping me with so many other things. So we have come to the conclusion of the show. And reminder, if you have not gotten the book, We All Grieve Differently, make sure that you get your hands on it. I'm still receiving emails and inboxes about how it is impacting people's lives, how they have been grieving for years, or even newly grieving. So this has been a blessing, and I have so many other things that are coming up that is connected to this project that I will be sharing. But thank you all for tuning in, and remember, like, take each day, take each hour, each minute, each second seriously. Understand it and live it as if it's your last moment. I have really, really been enjoying life and looking at life in a different way. I've always lived on purpose, right? But just doing some of the things that I always wanted to do and stop, not procrastinating about them. So, thank you all, and I'll see you all next week. Have a good one.